3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm justjanib. I'm here at the Hippie Haven in Miami, Florida with Knarley.
What's happening?
Yeah, it's the South Florida creative Miami native, correct? That rhyme. I'm here with very spiritual being, very aligned being. Makes a lot of music that just makes sense for the spiritual ones. And you actually spoke on Instagram, one of your posts about the downloads coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I kind of resonate with because sometimes I'll have revelations in the middle of the day,
right,
or something that kind of makes sense, that aligns you, because when you have goals, you have things that you want to attain on the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know what was the most profound download that you've received?
I would say the most profound is usually just my creative processes, like receiving information. Like there's a lot of times when I write, I just write non-stop. It's not like a period where I write a bar then start writing out. Like sometimes I try to stop and my hand just keep flowing and going. So like that's when I say like downloads coming in. And I would say the first time it happened while I was writing was last year. Mm-hmm. Like last year during the summer, I was in a room and I was like high as shit. Mm-hmm. And like
that always happens.
In a really emotional state, because that's usually when I write my best music, in a really emotional state, and I just use that as a moment to transmute whatever I'm feeling. But last year in the summer, is when I actually noticed and I tried to stop writing, mm-hmm. and my hand just kept going. Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of like you're in this tunnel vision, kind of on some Kodak, that tunnel vision. You're seeing the goal, and once you're in that kind of almost that, again, that tunnel vision, that cycle of just, okay, I'm getting this out, and that kind of brings me to my next question, mm-hmm. as far as, transparency within your work. Transparency as far as taking your testimony almost. How do you feel like transparency helps you, speak to your audience?
Keeping it transparent is like what I would say keeping it 1,000. I gotta keep it 1,000 because I understand I'm a vessel and I'm speaking
mm-hmm.
speaking to reach a certain people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could care less who my music isn't for, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like I'm speaking my piece to resonate with people that can relate to what I've been through.
Yes.
And I feel like what I've been through is pretty universal.
Yes.
And so that's really what it be about, just being as transparent as possible, keeping it 1,000, and really trying to reach my authentic self.
Yes.
Like you can't really reach your authentic self if you don't embrace and accept what your shadow is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's really why I try to keep it as 1,000 as possible in my music.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's just my regard for the art and the craft of hip hop,
right.
for one. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even like showcasing those deep and intimate emotions with yourself and expressing that to the world, as I was saying before, like we think things sometimes that we cannot fornicate into words. Mm-hmm. We can't, make it a almost tangible thing to describe. So when you express it through these outlets, and people feel things through the vibrations of music,
right.
through the, even the pain of someone's voice, the power of someone's voice. So it's not only just a selfless thing to showcase your vulnerability and your transparency, but it's also a captivating and wonderful thing. So with that also being said, your stage presence. We were at Speakeasy. Yeah. I forgot which month it was in.
That was January. We could kick the year off with Speakeasy.
January was a very good Speakeasy.
Before COVID.
Yes, before everything kind of just. We're on a roller coaster. We're deep in the ocean of an awakening right now. Let's just put it that way.
Big facts.
And that night, I mean, every single performance was so well, but the energy as far as, when you came on, I mean, the smoke was coming out, the vibe was just right. I felt like you put your all. Yeah, me and Tyler, we were sitting right in front, and we were like,
the smoke came out.
Yeah,
I didn't even really peep that.
Yeah, no, the smoke came out and everything, and I was like, whoa, like. But this is it. Like this is some pure talent. So what is it that amps you up when you get on stage? Like what is it that that gives you that fire when you're on there?
I'm just naturally a performer, but like something takes over me. Like I remember the host saying he didn't expect me to come out like that. Like usually my presence is like very chill, modest. You'll probably think I'm just like a weed head smoker. Mm-hmm. But I come alive, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? That's my moment to just like unleash.
It's like tapping into past the third dimension. Like you're
Past that. We past 3D. We past that.
We're way past that. And you know, that makes me think like there's some songs even that make you think like, where were they in their heads when they were recording? Like, you know, if like, let's say Michael Jackson, he was probably in the studio giving his all with Man in the Mirror,
right?
Or, you know, Bad, or Billie Jean, all those songs, like you just step into this, you know, this persona, and I can relate because performing, like I grew up doing theater, all that X, Y, and Z, and it comes to the point, you know, if you connect with the character in a play or anything like that, and you embody it because of the actual message of the play, and that's what I also want to get into too, you know, the actual messages that you're putting out there. When you know that is your truth, it's so much easier to put your passion mixes with that and just
pour it
people
out
feel it.
Yeah.
Energy is everything. I always talk about energy. Energy is more than just like, oh, like protect your energy. Like we always have to protect our energy, but it's all about like sometimes your intuition, you got to tap into that. So how has your intuition guided you into knowing that like your inner power is kind of being an influence on people? Like how do you feel like your come up is, you know, enhancing that?
For one, after I performed Meeting You, that let me know how I spoke my truth and how I gave my all in my songs is resonating.
Yeah.
That was confirmation.
Yes.
You and then several other people that I met that night. And then just when I make my music, like I said before, like my writing process is like non-stop.
Yeah.
When I write my verses, there's not too many times where I take breaks to finish it or cultivate it. It's just like a fluent flow.
Yeah.
So like that's my intuition speaking to me. So I literally go over it and I just take it as that. You know, I'll rephrase a couple bars, you know, all right, I can spit that better. Let me take that word out. But like I say, my spirit is instantly talking to me once I start writing. And I feel like that's one of my gifts, writing. You know what I'm saying? Just literature. And so, you know, exercising that gift of gab. And with that, with my intuition and just speaking my truth, like I said, you know, when you speak your truth, you're going to touch people who you authentically connect with. And that's what it's all about. So I feel like that's how I met a person like you. That's how I meet a lot of people or gain any kind of followers right now.
Absolutely. Because again, like it's almost like you're finding your soul tribe.
Facts.
You know, and sometimes it's not affecting, you know, the whole world at once. I mean, that's the whole thing with the come up, you know. Sometimes it's going back to the fact that we're always doing this for a reason. Like what sets us, you know, sets the tone for who we're trying to gravitate to, but still sticking to ourselves, if that makes sense. You know, our mind, body, soul, and spirit, they're all connected, interconnected in ways that, you know, you can't possibly like not be right in the mind yet like expect, you know, your body to be able to keep up at the same time. Or no, you can't be, you know, not right in the soul and not be able to speak truth into your mind. So I mean, how, you know, are those vessels used as far as, you know, pouring into your crafts or even on a daily basis when you're, you know, working on your shadow self and like doing that internal work, you know? Embracing it, accepting it is the biggest thing. And I just actually had a life-changing event occur this recent week, this past week. Met an individual named Charles Prophet, and he drew a picture of me. Don't know him for a can of paint. Never seen him. I just told him my name and gave him access to me. And he drew like a very descriptive picture of me subconsciously. And it just resonated with me in a lot of ways. So I just feel like the more you embrace things, you accept it, that's your way to empower yourself, to do your shadow work. So I feel like, you know, connecting with people like that on the spiritual path, that's a part of like helping you become your true self and continue to evolve. So I just used running into different artists as a connection. You feel me? Like, even when we're working, that's art. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you're working, no matter whatever you're doing, that's an art. That's a process of procreating. You feel me? So yes, absolutely. And keeping the momentum within yourself, like our ability to speak life, you know, with our words into our own selves. I mean, we do project like what is from within out. You know, just like, you know, how you know, direct yourself to people or, you know, how you choose to speak to people, X, Y, and Z. I feel like it's a come and go kind of experience. So I don't know, I completely agree with that 100%. Like in the music culture, as I was saying about like vibrations and everything, and how music kind of touches people in a way. Do you think that your music style, and I remember you posted about, you know, rock and roll, it was some rock and roll song, and I was thinking, you know, people tap into different types of genres as far as that. Do you categorize yourself as a certain genre?
I would call my style conscious ebonics, because it's just basically like I'm aware, I'm present, and I'm using ebonics. That's what hip hop is, using ebonics. And I'm integrating taboo terms with ebonics, and just so it can be relatable and it make you want to go dig.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm just breaking bread on what I've learned and what information came to me and how it resonates with me. And how I break it down is for how you to receive the information. Because I just feel like you have an esoteric realm and you have an exoteric realm, where things are on the surface and you have things that's beneath the surface.
Yes.
And the only way you can truly master self and make it up that ladder, Jacob's ladder, is just literally through going beneath the surface.
Absolutely.
So that's really how I go about things, and how
I agree.
move about it.
It's kind of like life is an ocean.
Yeah, it is.
And I always, like, recently too, I've been having this revelation as far as like, you know, I feel like I'm deep in the ocean of my awakening. There's tides, there's waves, and there's stillness.
Yeah.
But nothing changes besides like you're deep in it. You know what I mean? When you're deep in that awakening, it's, you know, sometimes it gets crazy, sometimes it gets scary, but then you realize your testimony, like the reasonings and, you know, why you're getting to where you're getting to, it speaks so profoundly to you. Like I've had a recent experience as well, and it just like reset myself.
Yeah.
In a way, I just reset my mindset as far as, you know, sometimes you don't have to care about, you know, what people think, or, you know, the thoughts that hold you back sometimes. Like you have the power to literally let go from that. You can put yourself in positions where you can, you know, elevate. You know, that's elevating is a great thing. So with being in the music industry, it can be kind of competitive. Do you feel like you're in this race? Do you feel like you have to keep up with a certain standard?
At all.
No?
No.
Okay.
I do me.
Yeah.
I'm here to do me. I'm not here to conform, and I'm not here to. I'm pleasing people by doing me. So I'm not switching up nothing. You know, you gotta. It's either they buy or they don't buy.
Yeah.
You feel me? When you conform, that's a way of not being true to yourself.
Yeah.
So if something don't resonate with me and I don't see my growth in it, I'm probably not going. I'm not conforming, and that never really been me. I'm a rebel at heart, and who I am today is me doing me.
Yes.
So
it's you know, life's easy. You be kind to one another. Try not to be an asshole. Give where you can, and just, you know, just be. That's why I believe that unifying through love and understanding that love is just the answer. Just being is the answer. Yeah, you have to work for things. Yeah, you have to work around, you know, life.
Right.
However, it's like who you are in your soul, who you are within always matters. So yeah, no, I always thought about that. You know, sometimes with the music industry, it can put you in this box that you need to have clout, that you need to have, you know, this and that. And it's like, yeah, like who wouldn't want to, you know, perform on big stages? Who wouldn't love to do that? But always going back to that inner part of yourself in that way, like what I'm doing is for a reason. Even if you touch one person, even if you touch 5,000 or more, like it's still that same effect. Like you go home to that in a way. So do you feel at home when you're in these spaces of writing or recording?
Yes.
Or yeah,
I belong there.
yes,
I belong there.
feel interconnected in a way, and it kind of just squares out. And sometimes you get caught up in like, not with Instagram and everything, that is social media period. Like you can have such an influence on so many people with it, yet there's so many pros and cons of social media, you know, getting lost in it. Or coming back out of that and realizing, okay, this is a powerful tool. You know, like on the business side, you know, have you ever tapped into the ways of like, you know, how do they call it, like promote yourself, market yourself?
It's funny you say that. That's the chapter I'm in my artistry right now. I talk to my girl Tisha a lot about marketing and promoting, and it was an issue for me. It was something I did not want to deal with, and she told me just like, you have to be creative. Just be creative in what you post. And you know, and I had this big issue with like, dang, like why everybody promoting trash? Like my shit fire, like but I didn't know how to promote my shit. And I learned
algorithms.
I learned through talking to her, just like, it doesn't matter if they shit trash or not, they're promoting it. They found a way to get it out to people. So it doesn't matter if your shit trash. If you found the formula for the execute and it's successful, that's successful. So what's really lame is having a dope idea and not promoting it and executing it and getting it to reach people.
Yes.
So that's really like, I'm in that phase right now, just learning how to promote, and just you have to be creative and have content. And
even investing in your craft. I think that, you know, when you're able to, you know, buy that beat, or when you're able to invest in, you know, studio time, X, Y, and Z, you know, sometimes it does take that, you know, that leap almost to finally get to that point. Keep the faith. Faith is so important. Faith. You know, reporting to, you know, the highest of all. And I think that when, you know, you follow that, when you embrace that, almost, you know, again, that embrace, that white light that guides you, the path almost feels clearer, you know? So it's a beautiful thing to keep that faith and be able to invest. So, but as far as investing in your craft, when was the first time you got studio time or something and you realized, like, dang, like,
2011, my senior year in high school at American Senior High. Like, matter of fact, it was 2012. I just started going to the studio session and just started booking my own time. I used to go up to Boca and record with my cousin No Sleep. And at that time, we didn't really have access to the equipment anymore. So it was just like, well, I don't got a car to get up there. So it's just like, fuck it, I gotta slide to the studio down on my end. Shout out to Starboy. That was the first studio I started booking time, and I recorded my first mixtape there, The Great Debate. The first I spent like over like damn near $600 like studio time.
Wow.
And I was just that determined though. And like that first project, I literally like rapped all my poetry just on beats. I didn't really even have a flow. I was just rapping just to rap. So,
and that's such a beautiful standpoint to get to. It's all full circle, the way I see it. You know, but again, like, you go through your different parts of the circle. There's dips, probably, there's potholes, but then there's like freshly paved, you know, ways. So the path is always clear when, you know, you're authentically yourself, when you invest in your craft. And these are all steps you take to just get to your goals. So you feel like you are like truly stepping into your goals and it's coming naturally to you. Yeah, that's good. That's good. You know, it's always important to keep the energy flow, keep that energy to be able to, you know, step into your true self and express yourself authentically.
So, into the flow.
What would be your message to put out?
My message to everybody is literally just like, whatever it is you need is within. You have to listen. You know, my ears were closed and I wasn't listening to my internal voice. You have to listen. Listen to the voice within. Everything you need is within, and love is the only way we can make a real shift in times like this right now. So, you know, it's shift or die and create or die, literally.
Rapid changes coming. Thank you again for tuning in. Again, my name is Janib, just Janib on Instagram, Twitter. You know, follow a sister for more authentic, you know, beings, messages. I'm just Janib. You can't know ifs, ands, or buts. So, again, at the Hippie Haven in Miami, Florida, with
Knarley No So. If you ain't know so, baby, you can follow me on IG. That's KNARLEY, No and So. And I think my Twitter is like that as well. That's terrible.
Link somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Knarley No So. Hey, follow me on iTunes, Apple Music, Knarley No So. Download Real Love, All Hell by Knarley No So. Real Love featuring Zorenzo.
Yes.
Salute.
Indeed, it's all love.
Clan, baby.
Yeah, man. What?